I'm Morgan Reed, and this is Behind the Headlines, where we step back from the noise, slow the story down, and look at what actually matters.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Tonight, thousands of people have gathered in the streets of Minneapolis and other places around the country in protest. A 37-year-old American citizen, the mother of a young child, is dead tonight. She was shot in the face by an agent of the federal government, and that government has spent the day telling despicable lies about her. The highest officials in the land slandering the victim as a domestic terrorist, running cover for their agent's actions before the earliest details were even available. Her name, identified by the Star Tribune, is Renee Nicole Good. She was the driver of a vehicle in an area where ICE was conducting operations as part of a surge of enforcement ordered by Donald Trump. The government wants you to believe this 37-year-old mother of a young child conducted a ramming attack against the agents, but by now you have probably seen the extremely disturbing video that shows what really happened.
No! Oh my God! What the What the You just what the did you do?
We don't know exactly what happened right before that video. We don't have video before that. We do know what happened after. Photos of the aftermath show an incredibly disturbing scene, including this photo of a bloody airbag right next to the stuffed animals in the glove compartment. This is what our government is calling a domestic terrorist. One witness said that a doctor on the scene immediately attempted to help that woman, but ICE blocked him. The Trump administration has responded how they almost always respond in situations like this, by lying. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said that a, quote, violent rioter, quote, weaponized her vehicle attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots, adding, quote, the ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make full recoveries. Donald Trump took things a step further, saying the deceased woman, quote, violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it's hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. Well, you just watched the attached clip. You just watched the video. And you can decide what you believe. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem already claimed she knew a definitive motive for the victim, despite the fact we still knew almost nothing about her.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day.
Consider that video. Was she attacking him? Was she the one initiating aggressive action? Was she the one being aggressive? As Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz noted today, they decided on a narrative and then just spouted out the conclusions immediately.
Hi, Holt. Maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever. And I don't want to be right about this, but I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed. And they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough. Enough is enough. It's unprecedented that we have the federal government's already determined exactly what's happened here and the motives of an individual that we don't even know the name. They don't know the name.
Of course, we later learned the name, Renee Nicole Good's name. After she was killed, and this administration had already labeled her a domestic terrorist, a woman who had attacked, had tried to run over and kill ICE officers. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey was even more blunt in his assessment, directing some very strong language at this administration.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the f*** out of Minneapolis.
It must be said that this response from DHS and the White House fits a very, very established pattern at this point. Last October, ICE tackled a local Chicago journalist to the ground while she was walking to a bus stop. She was handcuffed, put in a van, detained. DHS claimed she assaulted agents by throwing an object at them, but she was released that same day without being charged. Does it seem like that's the kind of thing that would happen if she actually assaulted the agents, that they would release her without charges? In that clip we just showed, when California Democratic Senator Alex Padilla was tackled to the ground after trying to ask Kristi Noem a question at a press event back in June, remember that? ICE claimed they believed the sitting senator to be an attacker who lunged at the secretary, but the incident was captured on video. And that narrative just doesn't seem to be true. The senator clearly identified himself. He's not seen lunging at anyone. Those are two examples. I could go on and on for an hour here. I mean, they've tried to get grand juries to indict people for assaulting ICE officers and CBP people, and they've gotten no true bill. They couldn't convict the guy that chucked the Subway sandwich at a DHS official a foot away because their credibility is so shot. There's none left. But none of their lies and spin can change the fact that a woman, a mother, an American, is now dead. In many ways, this moment is painfully familiar for the city of Minneapolis. Renee Nicole Good was killed just blocks from where a police officer murdered George Floyd 5 years ago. And that murder, of course, also captured on a phone camera, led to the largest mass uprising for racial justice in a generation, by some accounts ever. And tonight, people are once again taking the streets of Minneapolis in protest. Governor Walz has urged them to remain peaceful, to not give this administration an excuse to suppress dissent or expand its militarized occupation of American cities. It has long been a concern that ICE would provoke a mass mobilization in response to their presence on American streets, and then Trump would use that as a pretext to invoke the Insurrection Act. We know he has even mused about shooting protesters in the past. Right now, the city of Minneapolis and the whole country is reeling from yet another tragedy, a death that was, as the governor said correctly, entirely preventable, at the hands of masked agents directed by Donald Trump.